The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD improves upon the original game in many ways, but one of the less talked about aspects is how the game's controlled, and more specifically how it supports two different controllers, the GamePad and the Pro Controller, which by the way you can swap between at any time on the options menu. Now for the most part, the controls are very similar between the two. After all, they have the exact same control stick and button layout, so it wouldn't make sense for those to change. But where things begin to differ are with the GamePad's touchscreen and motion controls and the Pro Controller's lack thereof. So I thought we'd take a quick look at how both of these controller options work and what the exact differences are between the two. So let's start off with the GamePad, as is probably how most people will play the game. So the biggest addition, without question, is that everything that you access via the pause screen in the original game is now accessible at all times on the GamePad. So you have instant access to your inventory, map, and tingle bottles all at any time without having to pause the game and go to a separate screen. Now this is pretty awesome for a couple of reasons. Because you have constant access to your inventory without having to stop the game, it makes things like swapping weapons mid-battle completely seamless. It also greatly enhances sailing, allowing you to consult your map and adjust your course while en route to your next destination. You really will save a ton of time simply by not having to pause the game every time you want to check your map or equip a different weapon. And on top of that, the touchscreen makes the selection process itself much faster too, thanks to its drag and drop interface. As you can see, you simply drag the desired item to any of the three item buttons for easy access. In fact, you can even do this without looking at the touchscreen, as the moment you select an item, it appears on the TV along with the three item slots. Furthermore, you don't even have to fully drag and drop it, as you can actually just flick the item toward the desired item slot and momentum will take care of the rest. Hell, you can even turn it into a game and try to bounce it off the edge of the screen for a trick shot. And speaking of weapons, the GamePad also allows you to use motion controls to look around or aim any of the first-person weapons, such as the bow and arrow or hook shots, simply by moving the GamePad around, which allows for faster and more precise movements. Now, although you can't use motion controls when conducting music with the Wind Waker, you can simply slide your finger on the touchscreen for the desired direction. Finally, you can, of course, activate off-screen play at any time by pressing the minus button. Okay, so that covers it for the GamePad, but what about the Pro Controller, which offers a control experience nearly identical to the original game? So in this case, you now access your inventory and map on the pause screen, just like in the original game. So that means you'll have to pause the game anytime you want to swap out a weapon or consult your map, which can take a considerable amount of time. And of course, you'll no longer have the luxury of using motion control for aiming weapons either, instead limiting you to using the right stick only. So why would anyone use the Pro Controller? Well, there actually are a couple of potential benefits. For one, some people may find it more comfortable. Also, it's the only way to actually see the map and inventory screen on your TV, and in high definition. Yeah, it's not much, but it's a small perk. But perhaps the coolest thing about playing with the Pro Controller is that you can actually still use the GamePad at the same time too, giving you full access to the map and inventory at any time. It's just a little less convenient, since handling two controllers at once isn't exactly the least cumbersome task. And no, you can't use it to aim weapons, nor can you use its touchscreen to control the Wind Waker. But it still does show the available melodies, which you can also display on the TV with the pause button. And finally, off-screen play is not supported in this mode. So sorry you Pro Controller fans, you're stuck playing on the TV if you want to use that controller. Alright, and that wraps up our look at the differences between the GamePad and the Pro Controller. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, make sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at GameXplain. There are even easy to click links in the description below. And make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain.com for more video comparisons and all things The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD.